When I was a little girl, my dad would take me to this place called Phil's in Richmond, Virginia, which was like your quintessential greasy Southern diner. And the food was so good. I would always get their limeade. And one day I was feeling particularly adventurous and decided to try their tuna melt. And I fell in love with it. And I've loved tuna melts ever since. But in recent years, I kind of stopped making tuna salad at home because I couldn't find sustainable canned tuna options. But lately, I discovered that sustainable options exist, at least where I live. I love this brand, Wild Planet, sustainable pole and line caught albacore tuna. Super yummy. So I make my tuna salad a little bit of a non-traditional way because I like to avoid using mayo in it. Instead, I use some vinegar and oil. I use capers for a little extra bite, red bell pepper instead of celery. I add in some herbs. I use shallots instead of onions, and so on. You'll see. So I'm gonna move over here to show you how I like to make it. Feel free to swap out ingredients. Let me know what works for you, what doesn't, what you add in. I'd love to hear kind of how you guys get creative with it, and I hope you enjoy.
Putting together the tuna salad is pretty straightforward. It's really just a matter of having all the ingredients prepared and laid out, putting them in a small mixing bowl and gently mixing them together, and it makes a delicious tuna salad. So I'm just making sure that I have all of my ingredients ready to go. I'm chopping up my shallot, which adds a really nice kind of sweet oniony flavor to the tuna salad. And then I'm going to put my 2 cans of albacore tuna in the bowl. Again, this is a brand that I found here that's sustainable pole and line caught albacore, and I'm sure there are other great brands out there. This is just one that they have near me, and I really like it. And then I'm going to put in 2 heaping tablespoons of the shallots and get ready to chop up my bell pepper. I took one section from my bell pepper and seeded it, and I'm giving that a rough chop, and it leaves me with about 1/4 cup of peppers that I'm going to add into the tuna mixture. And then I'm going to start putting in the ingredients that give it the vinaigrette flavor that I love so much, and that kind of sets it apart in flavor. So I'm going to put in 3 tablespoons of a high quality olive oil, 2 tablespoons of capers, and 3 tablespoons of vinegar. I tend to either use coconut vinegar or apple cider vinegar for this. Then I'm going to put in 1/2 teaspoon of flaky sea salt and 2 tablespoons of whole grain mustard. And then I'm going to squeeze in the juice from 1 lemon. I'm just using my hands to make sure that I catch any seeds and get as much of the juice out of those as I can. And then I'm going to mix in about 1/4 teaspoon of freshly ground black pepper and get my herbs ready. I usually use flat leaf parsley for this, but I didn't have that on hand today, so I'm just using basil, and it actually tastes delicious with basil. So I'd recommend using flat leaf parsley or basil. Give it a good mix all together. Make sure the flavors taste good to you. And then I've found some great grain-free and gluten-free breads out there. So I put this on top to make a tuna melt. As a treat, I like to have sheep and goat cheeses every now and then. And this cheese is manchego, which melts beautifully and has just the most delicious flavor. So I'm going to put this in my oven to broil for about 3 minutes. Obviously have to keep a close eye on it. And there you have it.